So, you want to build muscle and see noticeable size and strength gains week by week? That's great. It's even possible if you have the testosterone of the Incredible Hulk. Since taking performance-enhancing drugs with potentially harmful side effects isn't fun, I'm going to tell you what is. Utilizing techniques such as time under tension, training to failure, caloric count and macro count, as well as consistency in order to maximize muscle growth. Hi, my name is Jaws, J-O-Z, not like the shark. In this video, I'm going to be going over techniques that not only helped me on my current muscle building journey, but have also been backed up by tons of research in order to maximize muscle growth. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that muscle doesn't grow on trees unless you're one of the greats like Arnold or Ronnie or one of the others. It's built, not bought. Even if you took performance-enhancing drugs without working out, it would look like this guy, who took Tren and DNP without working out. But also, you would look like this guy, who would get caught up in the wind. While I have your attention, this was me in January of 2023. I had just found this tutorial on how to work out and eat properly. Plus, I was adding new research I had found every day to my regimen. During this time frame, I wanted to cut down to see what kind of body I was working with, since I was borderline overweight according to the BMI scale. I hadn't gotten everything down to an exact science yet, but this was me, July of 2023. As you can see, I hadn't developed my abs enough, so when I cut down, the only cool thing I had on my waist was some healthy ribs. On the contrary, I did consistently train back, so I had a six-pack on my back. While cool, this wasn't where I wanted it. Fast forward to September. This is what I look like. I had just found some things out about caloric intake and what it means when talking about building muscle. So now I look like this. This was the first time in my life I had any noticeable fitness veins on any part of my body. I thought I was the coolest kid in the club. Not only did I have them on the inside of my forearm, but I also had started to develop those mean, bodybuilder-looking outer forearm veins. Now we're in November, about 9 months ago from today. I looked noticeably large compared to my other classmates. I wasn't the biggest or the best looking, but compared to 8 months before then, I looked pretty good. It also made for cool selfies. At last, we make it to March. This is what I would call the peak of my cut. I had found my first bicep vein. While it wasn't the biggest one, it was the coolest thing since sliced bread for me. I was shocked, stunned at how far I had made it. April was the same story. I had finally had a six-pack to call my own. It would have been an 8-pack if I had kept going, but progress at this point was so slow that month by month, nothing really seemed to change. It did make for this cool profile picture, though, and was worth sticking to for another 2 months since I had a beach vacation coming up. It also made for great video titles, where you can see some of my progress at the beginning of this channel. But like I said, nothing really changed when I got to May, except for greater ab definition, which I was already pretty defined, so to me that didn't really mean much. This meant that I had two options if I wanted to get more lean. Number one was stay on this cut for another 2 months and just keep shredding. Number two was invest in a bulk so that I can gain more muscle, more size, and expend more energy in order to burn more fat next summer or next time I start to cut. So this is where I am now. No more abs, only a couple of veins left sadly, but I have doubled my strength in most of my lifts. If not, I've added between 40 to 80 pounds of strength to each muscle group compared to when I was on the cut. This isn't all muscular strength and does have something to do with the fact that I'm eating more, so I have more energy, and staying way better hydrated than I was on the cut. I do assure you though, some of this strength will stay, hence the reason you go on a bulk. I am ending the bulk early now though because I took to it way too well, and I've gained that strength I needed. So while I look like a pool floaty, I've got everything I need to start my next cut. Now that I've told you all about my fitness journey, it's time to break it down, get in between the cracks, and unlock the secrets so that you may get a hold of your physical state and show it who's boss, bending it to your will. First thing I will talk about is time under tension, TUT for short. What is working out? Well, working out is putting your muscles under strain in order to tear them down at a cellular level and repair them eventually with protein, which I will talk about later. Time under tension is just putting your muscles under strain for longer by slowing down the reps and controlling the weight. You might lower the weight for this, but that's okay, as long as you make it to failure, which is the whole point of working out. Going to failure means that you can no longer lift the weight that you have intended to lift. And this isn't your PR weight, this is your weight for sets, whether the lightest weight on a pyramid set or what you would use for a consecutive 4 sets of 12. The bottom line is, you have to hit failure. Time under tension should only be utilized in order to hit failure faster. When it comes to diet, it's everything. And when trying to build and maintain muscle, you gotta make sure you have a high enough protein count. When you're bulking, you also want to focus on carbs because that gives you energy to fuel your workouts. fat should be reduced when you cut. But I wouldn't worry about that as much if you're not interested in bodybuilding or you've just started out like me. What I would recommend is mainly focusing on calories and protein, since lower calorie foods tend to have higher protein sometimes and less fat and less carbs usually. So all of that is taken care of for you. If you're unsure what your maintenance calories are, look up calorie calculators online. Usually it's the first one that pops up, and they're pretty accurate. They usually all give about the same result since they all take into account height, weight, age, and physical activity level. On the protein side of things, you want to make sure you get 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight in men and 0.4 to 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight in women. This is just my opinion, but seems to work for me. After all this is determined, you want to see if you want to cut or bulk first, because this website will give you your calorie maintenance for day by day. What I recommend if you are trying to cut is to cut your calories by 300 to 500 if you are trying to cut and just take it slow, 500 to 600 if you want to get fastest results. And I don't recommend this, but if you're advanced and you've done this before, you can go for 1,000 to 1,500 calories in order to lose weight as quickly as possible. Anything too steep will result in muscle loss, and essentially you're just working backwards because you can't expend as much energy in your workouts. You'll feel sluggish and you won't have the strength to do anything really. Now this is optional, but what I would recommend is getting yourself a quality heart rate monitor. What this will do is allow you to track your heart rate in between sets, which is really important because, according to some studies, a higher heart rate tends to lead to you burning calories in your bloodstream, not fat. You will eventually burn fat, but muscle usually burns faster than fat. So what might end up happening is you're working really hard in the gym and you're just burning muscle and then repairing it over and over again. You're not getting stronger or weaker, but you're also just not losing weight. So it's really not helpful. A lower heart rate tends to burn calories in fat. Since fat takes longer to process and calories in the bloodstream are readily available, this is why you should try and keep your heart rate to a minimum. In between sets, I would recommend resting if your heart rate gets too high. Usually these heart rate monitors come with an app, and that app will tell you, based on your height, age, and physical activity or exercise that you're doing, what is the optimal heart rate for burning fat or improving fitness. When bulking, you do want that heart rate really high because you want to improve your fitness and build your muscles up. So on a bulk, try and keep your heart rate as high as possible. On a cut, keep it as low as possible. As always, you want to stay safe with this exercise. If you have a heart condition, please don't race your heart up. Do it safe. Now, while I was talking about the bulk, I forgot to mention that if you want to build muscle, you have to have a surplus of at least 500 to 1,000 calories over your maintenance calories. This is because your body needs energy in order to recover. So on a cut, you won't really build as much muscle as fast. You will build some, but just not as fast as you would on a bulk. When you're bulking, you need those extra calories because you are repairing your muscle. Protein is good, but calories give your body energy, and you need that. This also fuels your workouts, so this allows you to work a lot harder and tear down a lot more muscle. Lastly, I would say consistency is your best friend. Anyone can do this for a couple of weeks, call it a day, and say, I'm done, I'm fit, and I've lost enough weight. What you should do is turn this into a lifestyle change. It's not a one and done, and then that's it. You want to make sure you can stay consistent with this. This is a bulk and a cut sequence, so you do this your whole life. What it leads to is a healthier lifestyle living. You tend to look at labels more. You tend to do more research. You tend to just live healthier overall. So I would recommend this to anyone, really. If you liked the video, you should subscribe, comment, like, and share this with someone that you think really needs it. Not someone that you think is unfit, just somebody that is trying to do the right thing, wants to get into fitness, and doesn't know where to start. Thank you. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Stay fit, stay safe. Bye-bye.